Hello friends, welcome back to another episode of Corey's Reloading Bench for a 22 long rifle. I say that because somebody told me that my channel was the Johnny's Reloading Bench for 22s, and I can't even get mad about that. He's got a great channel. Definitely agree with that. I love testing him. So anyway, got part 2 of my ammo testing for the Ruger American Rimfire long range target. Was able to get out and shoot today. Got really lucky because it was exactly like I did part 1 as far as weather goes. Here in Ohio, it was snowing pretty heavily today. Not much wind, I would say, consistently 3 to 4 miles an hour, maybe 5 miles an hour here and then, but it was pretty calm. Wet snow. I was a little more prepared this time, had my tent and tarp out, so I wasn't getting snowed on quite as much, and I wasn't quite rushing like I was last time. Not going to go over the specs of this rifle. If you're interested at all in how I have it set up here, and check out the first part of part 1. I talk a little bit about this rifle, the specs and what I've done to it. Not going to go over that. I tried 13 different types of ammo today, so I'm going to try to make this quick so I don't talk a lot about the rifle. I want to get in more to the groups. A couple things I do want to go over though. A couple people had commented on part 1 about the chronograph that I have. It's a Magneto Speed V3. And if you're not familiar with those strap onto the barrel. Well, a couple of people were saying their experiences were it kind of messed with harmonics a little bit. And I didn't, we had talked back and forth a little bit about it. Mostly people were saying that it affects their center fire, not as much accuracy, but it changes the point of impact. What I wanted to do this time, with a couple of these ones that I knew would shoot well, that would shoot pretty consistent, I shot the fouling rounds with the chronograph and then took the chronograph off to see if it would change the point of impact at all or affect accuracy. Long story short, no, not at all. Didn't affect either. There was no change in accuracy, no change of point of impact. It didn't affect it at all. So with the rest of them, rather than taking it on and off, I just left it on because, like I said, it didn't affect it at all. And another thing I want to talk about real quick, and a lot of you guys know, with a Ruger Precision Rimfire, it has serious extraction issues. In part 1, I only had one failure to extract out of like 500 rounds, and the same was true to this round of testing. I shot a little over 600 rounds today and had one failure to extract, so I'm really glad they fixed that. It was a big pain in the ass, but with this one you don't have to worry about that. Okay, so anyway, I'm going to get right into the groups. First one I tested was Remington Thunderbolt, and the only reason I did this because a lot of people comment about how well their gun shoots Thunderbolt. I don't believe it without seeing it, because any gun that I've ever had, it's absolute trash. So I'll show you the groups here. The fouling rounds, they were so terrible. I didn't even waste my time shooting for group. The average velocity was 1134 with a standard deviation at 65.7. That's just a waste of time. I left that ammo in the barn because I have no need for it. But I just wanted to see and show you guys that it just doesn't shoot well for me. I'm glad if it shoots well for you. That's great because it's cheap, but that's never been the case for me. Anyway, next, another ammo that I tried, several people commented and said theirs shoots CCI Velocitor really well. So I got some, gonna try it, and again, it's just terrible. It's good for shooting game, I guess, if you can aim and hit it, but a lot of these aren't even discernible. I just burned through it because I didn't feel like emptying the mags out that I already had reloaded. It's going pretty fast. It's on the verge of having to wear hearing protection. 1337 standard deviation of 32.4. Didn't even bother measuring these. It's pretty crappy. But like I said, people use this for hunting. They're not going out and shooting our 22 matches with stuff. But like I said, people suggest it, and I try to take those to heart and give it a shot. So it's okay for hunting, not okay for groups. Moving on. Next, Eley Subsonic, and I'll show you the box here. Probably made for game again. I don't know. Didn't even bother measuring this stuff. This was the worst out of all of them, probably. And it looks like somebody shot this paper with buckshot. It's so terrible. And I was super pissed because, well, you can see it's going like 935 feet per second with a terrible standard deviation. One of these rounds was such a squiblo that it hit the stupid VC chronograph. And thankfully, it wasn't going fast enough to damage it. But it basically bounced off the chronograph and hit like 10 yards in front of the target. So that stuff is crap. Probably expensive. I can't remember where I got this. Out of this batch of ammo, I ordered some of it off Brownells, and what I couldn't find, surprisingly, Bud's Guns had it. So again, that's Eley Subsonic, and this is 50 yards. As you can see at the top of the target, I write it down in there. But it's pretty shitty. I wouldn't even try to take a chance at an animal with this stuff. It is hollow point, but that doesn't make any difference. I wouldn't shoot this at anything other than paper. But don't buy this stuff. It sucks. Next. This Agula target competition. It's 40 grains. Sorry to get it in focus there. It's rated on the box at 1,080 feet per second. Here's my groups. I don't know what the standard for rating ammunition is. And again, this is a 22-inch barrel, but it was going 1092, averaging .893. There was a couple decent groups in there, but it didn't shoot very well. It's kind of cheap, $5 a box maybe, but didn't shoot too well. What I wanted to point out is they rate it for 1080, and this was going 1092. So like I said, I don't know if they rate that at a 16-inch barrel or exactly what. But anyway, not great. Moving on. SK pistol. Couple decent groups. Average velocity is 977. I mean, 100 yards is max with this stuff unless you have a ton of dope on your scope. Standard deviation at 23 feet per second. Average group size was 7.30. Like I said, there's a couple decent ones in there. 4.37 was pretty good, but this rifle didn't like it very well. But a little expensive. Won't buy this anymore. Next, something I saw that I've seen people talking about is this Gemtech, or Gemtech, or however you say it. And it's 42 grains. They rate it. What do they rate it at? I thought there was a feet per second rating on here. I guess not. But anyway, I just figured I'd give it a shot. It's not too terrible expensive per box. Here's the groups. A couple decent ones in there. Top one wasn't very good. A couple flyers here and there. It's going 1029 feet per second. Standard deviation wasn't too bad, 10.7. Group size 722. Worth a shot. Won't buy it anymore because there's a lot of stuff that shoots better, but worth a go. Next, something I want to talk about just real quick. Couple things. Eley Edge. Now these come in this super crazy box. Like you have to push it out the back and then it pops out. It's really expensive, as you can see. It snaps in and you have to push it out. The top doesn't come off, it comes out the end. And then I want to show you what the bullet looks like. It's got this weird little knob on the end. I don't know if you'll be able to see it on camera or not. Probably not, sorry. The bullet just looks a lot different from all the rest of them. At the beginning of the video, when I had talked about I only had one failure to extract, it was these. This is the one that didn't extract right. But I'll show you the groups. Didn't shoot too bad, actually. A couple good groups on the failing side there. Average velocity. A lot of these are really the same. All the subsonic stuff's moving pretty much from 1020 to 1090. .493, it wasn't too bad. 50 yards. I think it's a little expensive and a super fancy box, and it doesn't shoot that great out of this one, so won't buy it anymore. Next, something that really surprised me, that I'm really happy about, is how Blazer shot today. This stuff's like $2 a box now. It used to be like $1 a box back in the day. It's gone up a little bit. These are 40 grains. I don't think I saw a feet per second rating on these, but I'll show you the groups. I'm overall really happy with it. Group size .657 for such a cheap ammo that you could buy like 5,000 of it for like $100 probably. It shoots pretty well. Wouldn't mind having some of this laying around just to go out and plink and do whatever. .432 is pretty good. That one group, almost an inch, wasn't that great. But other than that, I mean, take that out and it moves the average down quite a bit. Blazer. I think the Ruger Precision Rimfire shot this stuff well too, and I had to go back and watch, but I seem to recall it shooting well. Anyway, Blazer. Gonna buy some more of this for sure. Next type of ammo is Eley Club, and they rate this at 1,085 feet per second. It's a 40 grain bullet. I'll show you the groups. Shot okay. Take out a flyer here and there, and it's pretty good. The standard deviation wasn't great, 22.8. Average velocity was 1,039 feet per second. Average group size was .641, but fairly consistent, I guess you could say. Not the best. Won't buy it anymore because it's expensive, but worth a shot. Next we have SK or rifle match. Ruger Precision Rimfire shot. That's okay. I'll show you the groups here. And you could see normally I don't put the orange dots on there, but today, like I said, it was learning a lesson from last time. It was kind of hard to see the red in the snow, so I put these on here so I could see a little bit better. Going 10-20, 16.4 standard deviation, group size 6.614. A couple decent ones in there. The third one down really upped it. Other than that, it'd be really close to shooting minute. So a little too expensive to buy, but you can see the bottom group there. That was almost a single hole group. And then I got really nervous, which I don't know why. It's my gun, my ammo. I buy it, shooting by myself, pulled it. That was the last shot of that group. I was really bummed out. It still measured a half an inch. I mean, you take that out, it's pretty much unmeasurable. So it'd be awesome if it all shot like that, but it doesn't. Anyway, worth a shot. Next type, Eley Contact, 42 grain round, and they rate, as you can see, it's all of my stuff still has snow all over it. They rate it at 1090 feet per second, and again, that's a 42 grain bullet. I'll show you the groups. Shot pretty well. So they rated at 1090, and this was going 1044. So some of these it shoots faster than it's rated, and others it shoots quite a bit slower. So I don't know. Standard deviation was pretty good, slightly over 10 feet per second. Group size was a little over 0.6. So, and again, really consistent. You take out the second one from the top, and it's gonna average around half an inch. So might give this stuff another shot. Pretty consistent. Was overall pleased. Another one of my favorites that I have used for a while that shoots well out of my Rugers is Eley Force. And again, I think this is a 42 grain bullet, and I don't see a rating on here as far as feet per second goes, but I'm pretty sure this 42 grain. Shot well out of the Ruger Precision. I shot pretty well out of this one. This out of the ones that I shot at 50 yards was the best for the day, and it was, I mean, still slightly over a minute, but again, you take the top one out there that has a flyer, and it's a lot closer, even slightly under average feet per second. And again, this is going a lot faster than most of them, so a lot of times when we go out and shoot past 200 to 300 to 400 yards, I like to use this, even though it's kind of expensive. Didn't have any squib loads with this box like I did the last one. 1167, standard deviation 15. Average group size slightly over half an inch, but there's a couple good ones in there. I mean, .342 is good. The bottom group's pretty good. I'll probably buy a brick of this because it shoots pretty well, in my opinion and experience at long distances. Anyway, so the last ammo that I want to talk about, I got out to 100 yards, and that was kind of pushing it today because, like I said, it was really snowing. It was getting hard to see. I just figured that this rifle is branded as a long range for whatever reason. Long barrel, that's for sure. And the last type I tried was the SK long range. And again, I don't know exactly why they consider this to be a long range ammo. Maybe because the bullet's 42 grains, but it's still subsonic as opposed to Eley Force. So I don't, again, maybe just because the bullet's 42 grain. So I just figured that since both of these have the long range designation, that I would shoot this one a little bit further than 50 yards. I would like to shoot it further than 100, but like I said, conditions just weren't allowing me to do that today, which is okay. So I'll show you the groups. Overall, all things considered, my shooting ability, factoring in the little wind that we had plus the heavy snow, I was pretty pleased with this, how it shot today at 100 yards. As you can see, the top group was really good, and that's under a minute. The second group, not the best. Wind probably kicked up a little bit. Same story with the third one down. Those both aren't very good. That was a combination of me and the wind, I'm sure. And then you move to the bottom two. I mean, they're not awful. You remove this one, and that's getting really close to half an inch. And again, this was at 100 yards. The average feet per second was 1063, standard deviation was 12.8, and the average group size was 1.17. So again, it's getting real close to an inch, averaging them all together. On a good day, when I'm shooting well, I think it'll be really close to minute or an inch. But here's how it shot today. It's kind of expensive, $10 a box, so you're not going to go out and test with this stuff. But I don't know. Worth a shot since they're both designated long range. Yeah. And that was the last one that I shot today. Overall, pretty okay. The rifle's fun to shoot. It's comfortable, and it looks cool. So, and as usual, I love the feedback and interaction on my videos. You guys always have a lot of cool stuff to say, and ammos to try, and a lot of good back and forth. And I appreciate that, and I appreciate you guys watching. So, true to form, just leave a comment or question or whatever, and I'd love to chat. So, take care.